Good afternoon out there, shopkeepers and do-it-yourselfers in YouTube land. Today we're working on a 2011 Jeep Liberty, the limited edition. And as you can see, now I'm getting the camera and the light out of the way. Brake pads are wore out. One on the left side here by just below my finger is wore out. It's almost metal to metal. And a lot of YouTube haters are going to say, well, you got to put rotors on it. Well, they're not metal to metal, and it doesn't have any pulsation, and it's not going to the moon, and the guy's on a fixed income. So we're going to fix it, put new brake pads on it. We'll lube up the caliper slides in here and bleed the brakes out. But to get it apart, you got a little rubber cap goes on the bleeder screw. Take that off, set it aside, don't lose it, set it there. You can put it back on. Keeps crap from getting inside that bleeder screw and causing it to stop up. So put you an 11mm wrench on there and loosen that bleeder, and then stick you a pry bar in here, screwdriver. And what we're going to do, see, you can see it's pushing out that fluid. You don't want to do it without pushing or releasing the bleeder screw, because it forces that old fluid back up into the master cylinder, and you want to purge it out. So then we'll get in there and get the piston side. We'll push that caliper in all the way. Almost dropped my phone. You don't have to get it all the way. We can turn it over and put a C-clamp or a pair of channel locks on it, squeeze it in the rest of the way. And you got a 13mm bolt on both the caliper slides. We'll go ahead and tighten that bleeder screw back up. And you don't have to crank it down to 75 foot-pounds. All you gotta do is close it. So we'll get them loose. Why the daggum thing won't let me won't let me pause the video. Sometimes that slide, it's got a hex head on it. When you try to turn your bolt to loosen it, it wants to rotate with it. So get you a good pair of pliers or wrench. Usually your wrenches are too wide and it won't fit on there. I get a good pair of channel locks and hold that while you turn the bolt to get it loose. And when you get your bolts out, there's two of them just like that. Might put anti-seize on there, or not anti-seize, thread locker. Set your caliper up there, and if you're going to be gone from it, go ahead and get you a rubber strap or a piece of wire or something and tie this up so it doesn't fall and swing on the the brake hose, because you'll tear that hose up. And what you see on the outside of the hose isn't what gets damaged. It's the inside liner of the hose that goes bad, and it will cause it to hold pressure and make your brake pads drag, because your caliper is not releasing pressure. And you can see that? There ain't no brake pad left. It's gone. So we take that off, and if you got a lot of rust and stuff, rust starts caking up between this shim and the caliper mount bracket. Between there and there's 4 of them. Make sure they're all still in place, and if they're damaged, with a good set of brake pads you'll get new. You go ahead and replace them. And if you've got rust in there, you need to clean that out, because what happens is you can't get that pad. That pad has to be able to move freely, not like that kind of free, but be able to move in and out with the pressure of the caliper. And that's good, and that's good, but we're gonna see, I just peeled that off with my thumb. Shouldn't take any pressure at all. We'll take them off, we'll wipe that off, and we'll put new lubricant on there. Now take note of them, which one is which, because some of them have got a rubber insulator on them, and it goes on this side, but the nearest, like your rotor spinning that way, it will come, how do I say it? If it's counterclockwise, this is going to be to the right or towards opposite the direction of the main rotor travel, and that keeps it caliper from chattering. Now we'll get a pair of channel locks and squeeze that in, or a brake caliper tool or a C-clamp and squeeze that in. You don't want to make sure and not damage your piston, and check and make sure that your rubber seal is not damaged. I've got that grease wiped off on both of those slide pins, and this is what I like to use. It's a silicone based a synthetic grease, and I don't like to use let's see what I got here. I got this Silk Glide brake lubricant. I don't like to use this. I've done a lot of brake work, and there was a fleet that I serviced, a lawn care service. They pulled some heavy trailers, and I did a lot of brake work on that. And anytime I used this, when I would go to take it back apart, all of this was consumed. It was burned up. But this, while it does consume and cook away, there was still more than just residual left in there. And if your caliper slide pins are not moving and staying lubricated, your brake pads are not going to wear evenly, and because of that, you're not going to have optimum or 100% of your braking force being applied to the rotor. And well, if you don't have that, you don't have good braking. You don't have good braking, you're liable to have an accident. So these guys are not a sponsor. I don't have any. Be nice, somebody send me a check, I'd cash it. But this is what I use. So we'll put you don't have to put a lot on there. Just apply a good coating that circles the whole pin, and then when you put them in, don't just shove it in. Give them a rotate. Give it a good rotate, then push it in and kind of rotate it at the same time, so that rubber seal will go back up on that lip. There's a little lip there that holds that seal in place. There you go. So that's good to go. And it's kind of cold out, and that grease is a little thick. So, but anyway, so we'll get that caliper pressed in, and just get you a good large pair of channel locks or something and squeeze them. I don't like these as well. I had a pair that I lost about 15 years ago, and something about the geometry on them was different. Well, you really had some good pressure. These, you don't have the power. Then you want to inventory your brake pads. So you got no wear indicator or screecher. No indicator or screecher. You got one. You got one. You got no indicator or screecher. But these screechers, usually, like your slide pin, like I was telling you, that would have an insulator rubber on it, that it goes towards the incoming direction of the rotor. That's a good way to say it, toward the incoming direction of the rotor. That being incoming and that being toward. This would be toward the incoming direction of the rotor, and they almost always go to the inboard side. This is the inboard side. This is the outboard side. But these are the same. The screecher is on the same side. So this one, doesn't matter. We can take this one or that one. But you can look at your original. See, there's a screecher and there's a round mark versus like the horseshoe mark. That's from the caliper. But that round is from the caliper piston. So that's further confirmation that this one goes to the inboard side. Like I say, if you have a hard time getting your piston or your pads to slide into the grooves, then take these off and clean the rust. You can take a good flat blade screwdriver and gouge into that rust, but these went right in, no trouble. So we got the piston pushed in, and we'll put this on there and kind of tilt it back and grab that slide pin, push it in, guide that bottom one in. Well, can't do it one-handed. Okay, I just got the bolt started. Now while I'm tightening that up, I'm going to go ahead and loosen this blader screw again, and I'm going to let that gravity bleed while I'm tightening these bolts up. Now those bolts, I don't know what the actual torque spec is. German, good and tight. I just use about an 8-inch 3/8 drive ratchet. Just give a good scunch, and they're not going to come out. And you can see that brake fluid's dripping there pretty good, and there should be no error in that. You don't have to tighten that dude down with the 1/2-inch breaker bar. You'll break that off and you wish you hadn't. But all of the air is going to be out of that. And before you start the vehicle up and put it in gear, pump your brake pedal up. Pump your brake pedal up, because you've got slack in there. See that slack? That means that when you push on the brake pedal the first time, you ain't going to have no brake. So you need to push on the brake pedal, maybe 2 or 3 pumps. You'll feel it get solid again, and that means that your piston is all the way out. All the slack is out, and the pads are up against the rotor. And then you want to make sure and check your brake fluid after you've pumped your pedal, and restore that brake fluid level out of a good clean fresh can of .3 or .4 brake fluid. And we'll just go ahead and call this one a complete video. Thanks for watching, guys. Share, like, and subscribe. Comment if you will.